Hello, storytellers. It's Storytelling Ron. I'm here to talk about. I'm becoming more and more fanatical. This is a clarion call for you Christians to put your faith into RPGs. I'm becoming more as I study, as I'm reading more and going in depth into the Dark Ages and into the ministry, and then as I'm seeing that through that lens, what's going on in the RPG world, and have seen. And then what's going on in our culture at large, I am becoming more and more sort of entrenched in that we should openly have a game that is literally showing Christians and non-Christians what the heck is going on. And this game, I think, does it because you, as a GM, you get to play the pagans and you get to take any example you want from modern culture and show it, disguise it, as we used to do. In I'm going to go off here. In the 50s, the sci-fis were all about disguising communism as aliens and stuff like that. And this, I'm just saying it outright, but is portray paganism as it is then and now. Nothing new under the sun. And how Christians, and see how your players deal with it, because this is a teaching moment, a teaching lesson. And the reason I'm also, the reason I, as a Christian, am becoming more and more radical is the exact same reason that Christians became more radical in history, is because when you confront evil, evil fights back, and evil gets more and more radical itself. And so the Christian has to respond in to that. The inevitability, though, is that Christianity is the answer. It's the best answer. It is the only answer. And so there is certainly the possibility of using the same methods as the opposition to accomplish something. So when people say Christians are violent, well, we're violent in response to violence. We're violent in response to sacrificing and killing and slavery and genocide. And when they say that we Christians are warmongers, I say yes. Take that, put it in their face. Show the fool what the fool is. Because war is the declaration of you're doing something evil and I have to stop you. What pagans believe in, though, when they call us warmongers, is they believe in genocide, slavery, and terrorism. Those are fine for them because they don't like war. They're not going to use war. They're not going to say we are going to wear a uniform and declare who we are, and then war upon you. That's what we Christians do. What they do is they just start attacking you without you even realizing it. They start doing it, and they use and they hide amongst you, right? They hide amongst the children, and they use the children as shields and sacrifice. And they will manipulate and creep in. Whereas we Christians just say, "Hey, I'm a Christian. Here I am. I'm the target now." So we use war because war is a declaration that you're doing something bad. I'm against it. And so put that in their face. Yeah, but we love war. Well, I don't love war, but war is something that we accept as part of our situation and response. They don't. They prefer genocide. They prefer terror and slavery. And that's how it has been in history. So I want to show you why I'm making this video, actually. Okay. So I was at the Grove. I went and saw Cocaine Bear. Yeah, I'm going to lighten this up a little. Cocaine Bear. I saw Jesus Revolution first. Okay, so I did the right thing on Friday, and then Sunday at night I went and saw Cocaine Bear. And the reason I saw Cocaine Bear, I should put a picture of Cocaine Bear up, is because that directly ties into For the Lord RPG. Paganism and the world at large will use, witches and sorcerers use drugs, a lot of drugs back in the day, and they believed in drugs. Concoctions and brews and all that, so thus they use that. They would drug up the animals and make the animals crazy and terrorize the land. And that's exactly what Cocaine Bear was. And it was a B movie. It's a solid B movie, I guess. It was entertaining. And I am looking for movies that are not trying to preach woke to me, right? And of course I took the Christian one, but the Christian one says it's a Christian book or movie. It doesn't try to steal an original IP like Star Wars or Marvel or DC and then change it, right? Christian movies just are Christian movies. We're just Christian movies. And besides, Batman and Superman were Christian, at their beginnings. So there's no stealing if we put Christianity in those. But of course now they're not. They're becoming woke. Anyway, so this here is a video I'm going to play of the Barnes and Noble. I really enjoyed going into Barnes and Noble bookstore at the Grove here in West Hollywood or LA. And I really enjoyed going into a bookstore, right? And a huge bookstore, but not that I found much that I really wanted. But boy, I'm sort of disappointed too in like Amazon, but whatever. I went into the bookstore and it was, well, this was not that great either, but it was just nice to walk around and browse, even though you had to sift through a bunch of stuff. But anyway, so this section here is witchcraft, paganism. It's out in the open. This is pagan. We're living in a pagan world right now. And for us to think otherwise, okay, for Christians to think otherwise is foolish. And then for non-Christians, if you think that, you're living in a secular or atheist world, you're absolutely wrong. You atheists are in a pagan world and you are the pagans. Or, let's say you don't believe in witchcraft and whatever. Well, all around you are the witches and the pagans and the children, and they're coming after your children. So for you people that don't believe in Christianity, don't believe in any belief, well, good luck with that. But everyone around you is either pagan or witches or what they want your children. And your children are defenseless if you're an atheist. Your children are defenseless. You're going to tell them don't believe in anything or just believe in yourself or whatever. Well, witches are going to go after them. And same with the us Christians as well. So, but here, let me play this little video. I got a couple more images as well. This is the beginning section. So that's the section on paganism, and then I'm coming up here. I just decided to keep going. Was the psychology, section or whatever, philosophy or psychology? I forgot. The self helps and you belong. You can do your thing. So, and I'll play this one here in a sec too. Let me go back to the other one, and I'll come back to this one, but I don't know how to go back to the other one without flubbing here. Oops. So yeah, this is all paganism. It's all paganism. It's all about crystals and it's kind of blurry, but I got some stills. Yeah, so this is out right now. We're in a pagan world, and I'm saying to you, this is not a joke. Like, we need to realize that this is full bore going crazy. Okay? This here is the right on the other side of it. So I actually took pictures of it. So this is, I'll just show this. Crystals, magic, and witchcraft. And here's what I want to say about this. These look like art role-playing game books. They look at that. Look at the art, the beauty of it all, and the colors. I would sit here and go, wow, are we playing this is a witchcraft role-playing game? What is this? And I didn't really look inside of them, but you could tell they're going to be incredibly graphic, and pictures and art and I'm sure really cool writing and design. Layout is going to be amazing and cool and selling. So this is the, I believe, culmination too of RPGs. When Christians are warned about RPGs, okay, there's definitely some truth to that. But the problem here is that RPG is neutral. RPG is just a game. So we as Christians are removing ourselves from a mission field. And that to me this is a direct result of that. This here is closely tied with role-playing games. I'm telling you, not because role-playing games is inherently pagan, but because pagans will use anything fun they will glam onto it and take it for themselves, just like they've done with science, just like atheists have done with science. Go look at apologetics. I got the video right here, but what's his name? David Wood is just coming out with a video about how science has been taken over by atheists, and he's doing it. It's called Jordan Peterson on the Christian Origins of Science. So go look up that YouTube video. Jordan Peterson on the Christian Origins of Science, done by Apologetics Roadshow with David Wood. I think that's his name. And he, talks about how, and I've only just started watching it, but I know where he's going with this. That science was created by Christians, and so was the role-playing game. Role-playing games, Dungeons and Dragons was created by Christians, okay? Old white men created, and that they say white men can't get out of here soon enough. Old white men created the game. Old white men risked everything in their finances and their families and their business to build the Dungeons and Dragons and the role-playing game culture that we have today. And they were Christian. And I think the whole satanic scare, to me, was orchestrated by the media, mainstream media back then in the 80s, and by Hollywood, was to destroy the role-playing games. I don't think it was a Christian. And of course, the Christian televangelists glammed onto it. And now Christians think that that's the source of it all. And I think that's wrong. And the whole backstory of the dude that went crazy, I don't want to go into it, but it was not Dungeons and Dragons that made him crazy. And so this is what we're doing. We're shooting ourselves in the foot. We're backing away from a totally awesome potential here. I love role-playing games. Well, I don't love these role-playing games. I don't love anymore, right? I used to love all role-playing games, and now I don't really. They're okay, and I'm not against them. You see my book here, or my back bookstore shelf here, and I am still doing a Dungeons and Dragons Tomb of Annihilation with some people because I'm going to finish it out and be not be cool about it. So I'm not like I'm not afraid of D&D. It's the woke culture, the pagan culture that has taken over D&D and some role-playing games. So I'm discerning. I'm discerning with role-playing games. If they're sort of adherent to the source material, like Aliens RPG is pretty good at that, and Cthulhu, Cthulhu's like whatever. It's a horror thing. It's a thing, and yeah, and they have erased Christianity from it. So that's a bit of an eye roll. Lovecraft has, like, there's like no Christianity in it. And that's another thing about this, about fantasy and about medieval stuff. I don't even need to show you the other pictures, but the pictures are of this. I just took a more clear picture of this same stuff. There's another one here. It's just the same table. But man, it's just like, come on. This is right at, look at that. What the heck is that? Let me see. I got some pictures here. Yeah, okay, that's that one. That's all I got. Yeah, so this is just a picture of the vertical shelf, horoscope, astrology, supernatural stuff, ghosts, palmistry, tarots, chakra. It's all paganism. Plant witchery, the Book of English Magic, the Book of Spells, the Solitary Witch. Man, look at this. This is bigger than the Bible section in that bookstore. And the Bible section was up on the third floor in the corner. And up on the third floor in the corner, and they had a religion aisle, but that was all kinds of stuff. It wasn't just Christianity. Wiccan, Kabbalah, Brewiaria. Maybe I'll just go buy a bunch of these for the fun of it. Anyway, so paganism, on not only on the rise, but here to here. Pagan's always been around, but the problem is that we think that it's it's fine. Oh, look, there's even a book on potions. I've noticed on the picture. Potions. We think that it's fine, but it's not fine. It's manipulative. It's controlling. All of that stuff is all about controlling people, controlling them unfairly, is what it's about. So that's what we're up against. So role-playing games. A Christian role-playing game where you play a missionary, that's what I'm doing, and I want it to be something that I want you guys to take these to conventions and play them and literally plop on your table and show that you can do a Christian role-playing game. It's going to be offensive to people. I've gotten only a dozen, but I've only reached a few hundred people, maybe on Facebook and all that. But I've gotten like a dozen people say I shouldn't be doing it. And I can tell they're mocking, scoffing, demeaning, belittling. It's like, why would you even say that? I mean, do you say that to... There's Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder. Now, any other fantasy role-playing game out there, do you think that these people said, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. It's a waste of time. Don't even do that. Don't even do that. There's already D&D and Pathfinder, or some lone dude doing a little fantasy role playing game. Would they say that to him? No, they only gonna say it because of what I'm doing. It's because of Jesus and Christianity that I'm getting people telling me I should be doing this. And here's the thing: Christians say, and I'm sure I've said this in other videos, but Christians says don't do role playing games. The Christians that play role playing games say don't put your faith into role playing games, and the pagans agree with them. Absolutely agree with them. That's right. Don't bring your faith into this game. Don't be Christian in this. Don't come in here. Let us. This is diversity. This is inclusion. We are the role playing game. The role playing game is a tool to get people to come to your belief, your system, your way. Fantasy has erased Christianity. Fantasy comes from medieval history. It comes from Europe. Medieval history. It doesn't come from Asia. It doesn't come from Africa. It doesn't come from South America. Fantasy comes from Europe. Old white man Europe. And fantasy is a mix of paganism and Christianity. That's what it is. It's the conflict or whatever of those two. However, fantasy has now removed Christianity and is just left with paganism. And paganism now is taking credit for everything. It's taking credit for romance. It's taking credit for knighthood. It's taking credit for chivalry. It's taking credit for fighting evil. It's forcing Christians to play the game as a pagan because they're so diverse and open and tolerant. And we Christians are stepping away and allowing them to take fantasy as a pagan thing in medieval and medieval Europe. Like I'm seeing games now that are more realistic and medieval, and then I look at them and it's like they've taken out the Christianity. They've replaced it with some sort of gods or God or whatever, but they've taken out Christianity. As long as they take out Christianity, they're fine. They're fantasy. They're medieval. They're good. They're good. And I'm like, what? So we need to take back fantasy, medieval Europe, the history, because just like in that the video I was referring to earlier about Jordan Peterson on Christian Origins of Science, everyone keeps erasing the Christian part of this. And there's this book out that I got called Dominion. I haven't read it yet, but I bought it. And Tom Holland, the writer, and I watched an interview on him, and I'm going to read this at some point. I'm going through some other pagan books and witchcraft. But this is a book about how, pretty thick, this book is about, and this guy is an agnostic, like atheist agnostic, but he's like starting to consider Christianity because everything that is good that we have today is based on Jesus Christ, not on paganism. Before Jesus Christ and Christianity, the horrors, and they weren't even horror because they were normal, of paganism was fine. Slavery, gladiators, torture, public torture. The cross was a proud symbol of the Roman public torture of people naked, dying slowly, and they put them on the main roads so people could watch them die. Gladiators is horrifically watching people being killed for entertainment. And I'm gonna go this dark. They would, I think everybody says, but they would open the entrails of the bears and the lions to see the humans that they ate and just to see what they look like for the fun of it. So this is paganism, and you think you don't have it today, but we do have it today. That doctor, that abortion doctor, Snail or Nail or whoever, that killed all those babies that were born and played with them and put them in jars and collected them. Okay, we have that today. It's still going on. So my point being, we can't, as Christians, we need to stop stepping away and start engaging. We are not of this world, but we're still in it. We still have to engage. And the engage is, in my ministry, is in role-playing games. And the way we need to engage is we need to bring our faith out in the open. If you want to go play one of their games, be a Christian in it. And if they play by the rules of because all the games are set up as, the rules are set up so that it's paganism. Like anything you do is pagan in a pagan way. My rules in my game are based on what worked for Christians in the past, and so I'm implementing it that way and making the game mechanics work that way. so that it does work for Christians, or what you do as a Christian. But in other games, you can't do anything except what the choices they give you to play as a pagan. But so what? Play anyway as a Christian. Use your faith. You're going to offend everyone, and you're going to annoy everyone because it doesn't work with this game. It doesn't fit in with this game, So that, my game, you can totally evangelize and we start rolling to figure it out if that works or not, if your evangelism works. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just talking about it. How do you play this game? How it's weird. It's only like 10 pages. It's really easy, but yet it's hard because it's such a different mindset. The best way to do it is just do it. Just do it and make mistakes. Work it out with your friends. Work it out together. Figure it out. Have the rules all out. Play a practice run with each other. Mess around, or just do it like a real game and just do it, because that's the way I did it, and I just did it, and it started to work. As you just don't. The concept of playing a pagan with Christians it doesn't feel right until you do it, and then when you do it, it's like, oh, okay, this actually is starting to feel right to me, and it's starting to make sense now. Because cerebrally, I had rewritten my brain to be just fantasy, orcs and goblins and attack and treasures, and I just didn't get how to do this. So my suggestion is for you is to just do it. Get your, use the starter kit characters, give it to your friends. Put down a village with some locals. Do that first scenario where they're sacrificing their sons to the holy one or horned ones. They're giving up their sons, and just do it and see how it feels. And and work from there. Build out from there. And you can build villages and stuff and homebrew it yourself. But it's the same kind of repeat with different scenarios each time. Same, but that's exactly what you do in D&D. It's really an exciting time for me because this is a new revelation. This is completely new, this way of thinking that I'm doing it, and I'm trying to teach you guys all or preach it to you all, but I'm learning too at the same time. So, and I'm just seeing now, because of this, because I'm doing this, I'm starting to see all this stuff out there, all the paganism that is out there, and proud and loud and all those books on those shelves are all about how I can manipulate others. I mean, that's what it's about. All of these books on here are about controlling other people. They really are. That's what it's about. It's all about knowing who you are, your future, planning out your future, planning out your, how you're going to control others, how you're going to beat others to whatever, get what you want. That's what it's all about. And that's not what Christianity is about at all. It's actually the opposite. Okay, so that's my rant for Monday after seeing this over the weekend. And go see Jesus Revolution. Go see Cocaine Bear if you just want to see. It's pretty gory. There's a lot of crazy violence in it. It's not recommended as a Christian morals, but I just wanted something, you just want to go to I love going to the movies, and I love going to movies where it's just silly and stupid. It's interesting to see that that was a lot of young adults, and I was like, oh yeah, young adults like to go see murderous films because all the previews were about violent, gory, murderous movies, killers, and they mocked Christians in all these movies too. Like the Christians were completely useless in the movies. And that some vampire movie with Nicolas Cage coming up, with the Renfield character, they totally took out Christianity. The Pope or some sort of bishop is totally killed in it. And Christianity, they show Christians as being completely weak and useless in these movies. Yet we know in history, Christians are the ones that were the force for good everywhere. The force for good everywhere. And that is being erased. And it's being erased on purpose, and it's being erased in role-playing games. It's being erased in science. It's being erased in movies. It's being erased in history on purpose. So I'm telling you, we gotta put Christianity back in role-playing games. That's my ministry now. I hope it's yours. Join with me. If you got a role-playing game, or if you want to create a setting with my system, which is really simple, please contact me, or I do have my tenants. Though I don't have them written down, but I'm not going to have you force you to stick with all my beliefs of Christianity, but it's got to be, you got to love the Lord. And it needs to show in your attitude, and that you're, whatever, and that you're for God's will, not your own kind of thing. But, as far as me, I don't know, working with you or whatever, but if you, yeah, so that's it. Man, just, wow, get to it. All right. Thanks for watching. I got to get to work now.